At a time when school districts are struggling to balance their budgets, a new report shows Wisconsin is spending 3 times as much money on the prison system than on students. News 8's Pauline Lee joins us live in the studio to break down the numbers.
Well, students who don't graduate from high school are about 8 times more likely to be incarcerated throughout their lifetime. And with the prison system easily outspending public schools, some educators say investing in students now could ultimately save the state money in the long run. It's a battle the La Crosse School District has been facing since the early 90s.
What has been happening and what we're hearing about year after year is the cutting of programs and services for students.
A study from the U.S. Census Bureau and the Vera Institute of Justice reports Wisconsin spends roughly $10,000 per student a year. With about 7,000 students in the district, Rossiter says that money gets stretched pretty thin.
Education's a very service-oriented business, so for the most part, it's personnel. About 83% of our budget is paying for the people that provide the services and programs for students.
It's just a third of what Wisconsin pays to house each of the 22,000 inmates in the state's prisons. The Wisconsin Department of Corrections says it costs about $30,000 per inmate every year to pay for housing, clothing, food, and medical expenses. A cost educators say could be avoided.
We've got a serious challenge to make sure that we're engaging kids in their education, that we've got families on board.
Associate Superintendent of the La Crosse School District says investing early on in a student's education could do more than just decrease the prison's population.
The long term, whether it's increased salary through higher education attainment or overall better health, quality of life in that regard, or the reduction of those folks who are incarcerated, it all makes a big difference for the state of Wisconsin.
The Wisconsin Department of Corrections says the state's prison population has stayed relatively average. The department also reports the rate of people returning to prison after they've finished their sentence has been steadily decreasing since 1993.
Thanks, Pauline. The study also shows New Jersey and New York are among the highest for prison costs, spending upwards of $50,000 a year for each inmate.